I went to Del Taco the other day for lunch, which is what I do quite often. It's quick, it's easy, it's close to work, and I love their fish tacos and their grilled chicken tacos. And I went through typical work day, typical lunchtime, went through the drive-through, and then pulled up to the drive-through to pay, and the lady tells me, "Oh, the people in the car in front of you paid for your lunch," which is so nice. I love paying it forward. I'm always about paying it forward. Ever since I saw that movie that was called Pay It Forward, and I believe Haley Joel Osment was in it. And ever since I saw that movie, I'm like, I'm gonna continue to pay it forward in any way I can. And it seemed like a movement, a silent movement from that moment on. People started paying for people in drive-throughs. So if I go through Starbucks or McDonald's or something like that, and I have the extra funds, I'm gonna pay it forward, and I'm gonna, buy the person behind me's whatever it is that they're ordering. So that was really nice that someone was able to pay it forward and do something like that for me. It's unexpected, and it's a selfless thing to do for someone, and it's a very generous thing, and it's a very thoughtful thing. And I love when people do things like that, because I do that for people in the drive-through behind me quite often, and so it's really nice when someone pays it forward and it happens to you, because it was unexpected. And I had my money ready to pay, and then it was just nice to be able to be like, okay, I can put this back in my pocketbook, put it back in my purse, and use it for another time, or use it to pay for with someone else. There was no one in the drive-through behind me, and so I was like, okay, I'll catch someone. I'm always grabbing like coffee at McDonald's or Starbucks or something, and wherever, even if you're at Wendy's, or say you're in a restaurant. I always hear about people who will be like, oh, I got that person's, drinks at the bar, or, there's a family sitting at a table not too far from you, and you're like, okay, I've got their table. People do that. And I think we need to really bring it back in full force, because pay it forward has slowed down a little bit. And then when that person paid for my lunch, it just reminded me of how I need to be more proactive and more active, and more in the mindset of I need to start, getting back into that. Yes, I do it from time to time, but it needs to be a more frequent thing, and we're not going to go broke, just paying for everybody's, meals behind us, when we just want to run in and run out, grab your lunch, go, and in this economy, it may not be so easy, but in this economy, because of the economy and because of the way it is, if you are able to pay it forward, then it is nice to be able to do that for someone. And then that puts it in that person's mind that if I'm able to do that for someone else, then I'm going to do that also. Maybe not at that moment, maybe a few months go by, and then they're like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get the people behind me. Or I'm going to take, buy this person's, beer, or a glass of champagne, or bottle of wine, or I'm gonna get this person's meal. Or even if you're in the grocery store, and you see someone and you'd be like, I'm gonna get this person's groceries. So I think we need to start bringing pay it forward back in full force. Not that it's left, but increase it, because in this economy, there's people that need it. They're suffering in silence, and you just never know how that could turn somebody's day around by doing something so generous like that. So keep that in mind. And if you guys are doing that, let me know in the comments what restaurants or grocery stores that you frequented. Have you gone to a gas station even and pay for someone's gas? Let me know in the comments.